There's only been, I want to say, maybe 3 or 4 people that I've come in contact with that had an evil spirit attached to them or connected with them. And the only reason why they had was because they did something they weren't supposed to do. They played with the Ouija board. They tried to become a paranormal investigator, right? They went to these haunted places, provoked spirit, and they brought something home.
Okay, guys, America's top psychic medium. We got Matt here from Rhode Island. Let's go, represent.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, same. We've had this book for a while. I'm really excited, man.
Me too.
I'm into all this stuff.
Well, I got to tell you, it's amazing because like everything that I do, I feel like people already connect with. Like people already receive signs from their loved ones, sense and feel their loved ones, but they just are not sure how to communicate with them. And I love not just giving readings, but also teaching people how to do what I do in their own special way.
When was your first inkling that you had some sort of ability? How young were you?
So I grew up like that little boy from The Sixth Sense. I was literally 3, 4, 5 years old and seeing and hearing dead people. And I was petrified every single time that I was by myself, whether it be in my room, whether it be that I was outside playing, souls would just appear. And it was frightening to me because immediately when I would see them, I would start to hear them as well. They would start to, whisper names and dates and places and all these messages, but I had no idea why this was happening. And I remember being a little kid and being so afraid just to go to sleep at night. And I remember like asking my parents to sleep with them. I remember going and wanting to leave the lights on, wanting to turn the television up because the more that, I was alone or by myself, the more the voices would try to come in. And, looking back on that now, I realized that it was because the souls knew that I could see and hear them. And that's why they were using me almost as their channel.
Wow.
But back then, being so young, I had no idea what it meant. All I wanted was to just be normal and to escape it.
Yeah. Did you tell your parents? Did they believe you at the time?
So what's interesting is my grandmother was a medium and my mom is as well. But you got to remember that back in the day, when I say they were mediums, right? It's not that they ever, did readings publicly or anything like that. It just means that they also had the gifts. But you have to remember that every single medium is gifted in a different way. There's some mediums that are pet psychics that connect with pets that have passed on. There's some mediums that are angel mediums that connect with your angels. There's some medical intuitives that can tell you what's going on in your body, right? Every medium has a different specialty, much like a doctor does. So what's really interesting is that my grandmother was one that used to use cards. That's how she used to read people, and that's how she would get her messages.
Tarot cards or?
My grandmother actually made her own cards.
Wow.
So she made her own cards with signs and symbols that meant things to her. And my mom has a very different gift. My mom is a life psychic. So my mom doesn't communicate with the departed, but my mom can actually see things in the future. So she can see like how many kids you're going to have, if you're going to get married next year, the house that you're going to buy, things like that. And with me, I grew up completely the opposite with seeing and hearing people who had died. So what was interesting is that when I was younger, I remember being so afraid. And I came to my mom and I told my mom that I was seeing and hearing dead people. But what was really hard was that my mom was trying to get me to embrace it. But I didn't understand why she couldn't see what I saw. For example, I remember there was this one night, and it happened many nights, where I would wake up in the middle of the night, like screaming and crying because there'd be a soul that was there above my bed trying to talk to me. And my mom would come running into the room. And by the time my mom had gotten to the room, the soul had just vanished. That soul was gone.
Wow. There
was this one night in particular that I'll never forget. I was in bed, and all of a sudden, just as I was about to close my eyes, I felt this face like right in front of me. And I opened my eyes, and this man was right there. And I screamed for my mom to come in to help me. And the soul backed off into the corner of the room. And my mom came in, she turned on the lights, but there was one thing that was different. And that was that the soul didn't disappear. That soul stayed there. And my mom's like, what's going on? What's happening? Because I was screaming like somebody had broken into the house. And I was pointing into the corner and I'm like, Mom, the man's right there. The man's right there. And my mom looked over and she's like, nobody is there. And that completely shattered me. I remember being so afraid because I'm like, why is it that I'm seeing this man, but my mom can't? And, my mom had tried to explain to me about, that some people are sensitive and can sense and feel spirit. And in our family, there's certain people that can sense and feel the spirit world. And I remember being so defeated. I remember crying in my bed saying, Mom, I don't understand. Like, why is it that I can see this soul, but you can't see this soul? And my mom gave me some really amazing advice that I still think about today. And that is, she said to me that souls appear to who they want to appear to. So in other words, she says that soul is trying to get in contact with you. That soul wants to deliver you a message to deliver to somebody.
The Tri-Light from Thera is no joke. Medical grade red and near infrared light with 3 frequencies per light, deep healing, real results, and totally portable. It's legit. Photo biomodulation tech in a flexible on-body panel. This is the Tri-Light from Thera and it's next level red light therapy. It's got 118 high-powered polychromatic lights, each delivering 3 healing frequencies, red and near infrared from 580 to 980 nanometers. Optimal penetration, enhanced energy, skin rejuvenation, pain relief, better performance, quicker recovery, and so much more. Thera has been leading the game for over 25 years, and this panel is FDA listed and USB powered. Ultra soft and flexible and ultra portable. On-body red light therapy I use daily, and I take it everywhere I travel. This is the Thera O3 ozone module from Thera. It's a portable ozone and negative ion therapy in one. It boosts oxygen, clears and sanitizes the air, and even helps your mood. It's a total game changer at home or on the go. This little device is the Thera O3 ozone module by Thera, and it's one of my favorite wellness tools. In the sauna, it boosts ozone absorption through your skin up to 10 times, oxygenating your blood and supporting deep detox. Outside the sauna, it purifies the air, killing germs, bacteria, viruses, and mold, and it improves mood and sleep with negative ion therapy. It's compact, rechargeable, and perfect for travel, planes, offices, hotel rooms, you name it. It's like carrying clean energy wherever you go. This is a Thera H2 Go from Thera, the only bottle with molecular hydrogen structured water and red light in one. It hydrates, energizes, and detoxes water upgraded. The Thera H2 Go from Thera isn't just a water bottle. It's next level hydration. It infuses your water with molecular hydrogen, one of the most powerful antioxidants out there. That means less oxidative stress, more energy, and faster recovery. But here's what makes it stand out. It's the only bottle that also structures your water and adds red light to supercharge it. It's sleek, portable, and honestly, I don't go anywhere without it.
Or get in contact with you for a certain reason. She's like, I can't see that soul because that soul's not appearing to me. So it's interesting because I've learned as a medium after all of these years that same thing happens, right? Is that you can be in the room with another medium and one medium sees a soul that another one doesn't. Yeah. It all depends on who that soul wants to reveal themselves to.
That's interesting. So they decide who they want to get in connection with.
Absolutely. And I can tell you that there's no 2 mediums that are the same, right? We all have a different gift. We all have a different way to connect with our loved ones, feel our loved ones. And if you're a psychic medium, tap into the other side. Some souls, will come through like to me and just talk to me and replace my thoughts with thoughts of their own. I'll see visions. I'll feel how they had died. I'll feel things within their body. There's some mediums that will actually use tools to communicate with the other side. Like for example, channeling where they, write on paper and it's an automatic writing technique almost that allows the souls to come through. There's some mediums that'll use tarot cards. There's some mediums that will go and, hold on to objects. And there's no right or wrong way to channel. It's all about how it is that you receive messages. It's almost like your own personal antenna to the spirit world.
I have a dowsing rod girl coming on in a couple weeks. Have you seen her?
No, I have not.
She uses dowsing rods and then asks questions and they move either right or left. It's crazy.
It's pretty cool. Back in the day, I remember like with the old Italians, right, when I grew up, they would use the pendulum technique where like they would go and they would like hold onto a pendulum and put like a cross, like yes or no. And like my grandmother and whatnot would use it like to answer questions. And you'd hold onto the pendulum and ask a question and whatever the way the pendulum would go, like the energy would move it to like signify the answer.
I've used pendulums to measure my chakras actually to see if there's blockages.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my psychic will put them on each point. And if it's stagnant, that means there's an energy blockage.
That's pretty cool.
Crazy, right?
It's amazing because it's cool how like we're all connected through energy. Like what people don't realize is that a psychic reading isn't just about communicating with the spirit world, but also sensing and feeling the energy that's around us, right? What's really cool is that we emit energy every single day. When you're happy and you're around a happy person, you can feel that energy. When someone's sad or depressed or going through something in life, when you stand next to them, you can feel them. And you have to protect your energy too. Just like you were talking about your chakras being, out of balance.
Yeah.
The thing is that there is a such thing called psychic protection. Psychic protection is about guarding your energy in your safe space. It's keeping your energy here and other people's energy over there. Because how many times have you been around somebody? I'm sure you can attest to this, right? And you're just around them and you just get this sick feeling. You just feel as though that as you're sitting next to them, they're like just draining your soul. This is actually called an energy vampire. And what people don't realize is that energy vampires can be your neighbor, your best friend, your old best friend, your coworker. And the thing about energy vampires is a lot of times they don't
Brought to you by Amnesia Vodka, crafted to leave an impression.
realize that they're doing it. They're just so angry within their life, so nasty in their life, so negative within their life that energy is being emitted and it's taking away from other people, right? Negativity always draws from other people. So the thing is that I also want to teach people that, because we have souls within us and we're energetic beings, it's really important that we keep ourselves protected as well.
Right. Souls within us. So you believe the soul's in the body? Because I know that's a debate, right? Like, is it outside or in the body?
Oh, no, it's definitely within the body.
It's inside?
Yeah, that's what the souls tell me. So there are actually two versions of us, which is cool. There's a physical version, which is what you're seeing right now. But then deep inside us, there's a soul. And I like to think of your soul as like the backup version of you. It's the energy version of you. And what's interesting is that our soul enters into our body right before we're born here in the physical world. And then when we die, our soul lifts up and out and goes to the other side. And this is actually sometimes caught on camera as well. I've seen so many people send me, videos and photos of orbs coming out of someone's body after they had passed away. We can see the soul leave. But what's really amazing is that your soul is a backup version of you, and your soul looks just like you do.
Wow.
So what's interesting is that in your soul, there's all different versions that are stored of you. So think of your soul like a big giant archive. There's you at 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, all the way up to the day that you died. And then when you get to the other side, you have this lookbook of all of these appearances, and you choose what you look like in the spirit world. So,
whoa.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
So it's like kind of like, think of it this way. The same way here in this world, we can change our hair, change our clothes, we can change our shoes, we can wear different jewelry pieces, right?
Yeah.
We can make our boobs bigger and smaller, right? We can go for cosmetic surgery, right? These are all physical things. Well, on the other side, we can choose what appearance that we most gravitate to, that best represents us, I should say. So for example, it's interesting because being a medium, I get to see those versions of a person. So for example, many times souls will come to me and show me, the version of them before they got sick here in the physical world, or at the time in which they were in their prime. So for example, let's just think about it. If you look at some of the greats, like for example, if you look at Tina Turner, right? We think of Tina Turner with the iconic hairdos and and the great legs and, the body and everything. And when Tina Turner passed away, obviously, because she went through such a terrible illness, she looked nothing like she did, back when she was out and performing.
Right.
But then when we saw the highlights of her life on CNN and Fox News and everyone who was paying tribute to her, we saw the very best versions of her on television. But when we get to heaven, we all have that very best version of us. If you could go back through, if I could hand you, and you can do this to somebody who is, 80 years old, 90 years old, if you have a grandparent at home, I'm sure that you've went to their house and you said, "Oh, grandma, you look so good. Grandpa, you look so good." And they're like, "Oh, you should have saw me back when I was 35, right? You should have saw me back when I was your age." And how many times have you gone to an older person's house and they take out a photo album and they show you pictures of what they looked like back when? A memory that they were so proud of, right? That's one of the things that we take with us to heaven. That memory of us that we were proud of, that's what our soul looks like in heaven. And I can tell you, and everybody who's listening, that if you've ever had a dream of a loved one who had passed away, then you've seen a spirit. Because I can tell you that the same way that I see them through my visions are the same way that they appear to you during dreams. So if you've ever had a dream of a loved one and you're like, "Oh my God, my dad came through when he was 10 years younger." Or sometimes souls will match their age. Let's say that your mom died at 80, but your dad passed at 45. You might see your parents in heaven at both the same age. It's very common. And what's also common is because souls can change their appearance in heaven, they might also come back at a time in which you remember them. So for example, let's say that, let's say that your brother had passed away, but you were estranged with him for 25, 30 years. When he comes to you in a dream or when you see him in the afterlife, he's going to come back as that last version that you saw because that's what you connect with and relate to, if that makes sense.
Is it true there's also no sense of time in the spirit world?
There is no sense of time. And this is where things get tricky when it comes to the spirit world and giving psychic readings, right? Is that the souls measure things in moments, not in time. So they never will say to you like, "Okay, Matt, like on, May 19th, you're going to get married on this day at this time." The thing is that they'll tell you this is your soulmate, or this is who you're going to get married to, or you're going to end up in this house, or this is how it's going to happen. But there's no sense of time.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.
On how it works. I actually have a story about this.
Yeah.
So, on how sometimes like psychic readings can go astray. All right. And I'm going to use one from my own life with my grandfather. My grandfather, when he was 16 years old, met the love of his life, Virginia. And he wanted to marry her in the worst way. She would not marry him because she was like, you're not old enough for me. He was, I believe he was a year younger than her. And she's like, I want an older man, because she wanted somebody, back in those days, she wanted somebody to be able to give her a family. And everyone wanted, they felt like women should be with older men and so on and so forth. So anyways, she did not, marry my grandfather. My grandfather went on to meet my grandmother. They got married. They had my mom, and here I am today. My grandmother passed when she was I think she was 52 years old when she passed away. My grandmother passed away young. So my grandfather, unfortunately lost his wife young. And then all of a sudden, one day he was in the supermarket and he met Virginia.
Wow.
His girlfriend from when he was 16 years old. And she had said to him, I just lost my husband. And he said, I just lost my wife. And from that moment, they got reconnected with one another. And, for years and years and years, they were together for, 30 years almost.
Dang.
So the thing is this, if he would have went to a psychic medium way back when, and he would have said, hey, listen, am I going to end up with Virginia, right? His girlfriend. They would have said, yes. And then when she said, oh, I don't want to marry you, I don't want to be with you, right? He would have been like, oh my God, the psychic's wrong. Not knowing that, literally 40 years later, or however many years later, right? They ended up back with one another.
Yeah.
That's how the other side sees things. They see things with connections. So for example, just because something might not work out right now, or, it's just because someone says something in a psychic reading, like they might say, oh, you're going to end up in Las Vegas, but you go and you put an offer in on the house and it doesn't go through, right? So then you move to Texas instead. The other side knows that ultimately your destination is going to be Las Vegas. It might not be now. It might be 7-8 years from now, but it's going to happen. And that's why it's measured in moments, because we have free will. Things always change. And it's not about what's happening right now in the moment, but it's about the destination, if that makes sense.
That's interesting. So are relationships predetermined? Like if you have a soulmate, are you destined to be with them?
So here's the thing. Before we're here in this world, before we're born, there are some soul contracts that happen where we go and we choose the people that are meant to be in our life, either to teach us a lesson, to help us. There's certain things that we choose. It's called a life preview. So before we're born, I actually talk about this in my book. There's this life preview that happens up in heaven. So before we're even born, we meet our grandparents, great-grandparents, people who had passed on before us. We spend time with them in the spirit world. And then we're born here on earth. But before that journey begins, there's already certain key players in our life that we're meant to know, that we're told about, almost like little hints. But here's where free will comes in. Free will comes in that here in life, we're going to be brought around these people. There's certain people that will cross our paths. But you're not a puppet on a string, right? You are born with a spirit guide. You're born with a guardian angel. Both have different roles. Your spirit guide was a person who was born here on earth and passed away and chose to watch over you on the other side because you're meant to live a similar life purpose. You also have a guardian angel that's there that's meant to help you through the battles of life, the anxiety, the pain, the depression, the things that you go through, right? Your spirit guide is meant to help you to get to your soulmate, cross paths with them. But your guardian angel is there to help you through all the emotional struggles that you'll go through in the meantime. Now, what I want you to know is this. Think of your spirit guide like a GPS. Your spirit guide is there saying, listen, this is your destination. You're supposed to get to this person, to this place, right? And they have it mapped out for you. And they're leading you down that path. But just like your GPS in your car, you can punch in the destination, but it's up to you to follow that map. And how many times does it come up on my car where it keeps saying rerouting, right? Because I think I know better than the GPS, or I don't pay attention. I take a left instead of a right. And the next thing you know, it takes me longer to get to that destination. Well, that same thing happens within our soul.
Got it. That's a really good analogy, actually.
Well, I think about that all the time when I'm driving because, it's funny because people say to me, does your spirit guide get mad? Does your guardian angel get mad? And they don't because just like in your car, when you have Siri on or you have your maps on and they keep saying rerouting, you keep missing the same exit again and again and again, your GPS doesn't get mad. They just find another route. And that's ultimately what your spirit guide is doing.
I didn't know everyone had a guide and an angel. That's interesting.
Absolutely. And then they're also there to help us when we lose our path or when the person we're with loses our path. Like, for example, sometimes soulmates, and this is where free will comes in, and free will gets really tricky.
Yeah.
You can meet your soulmate, be so in love with your soulmate, have an amazing relationship with your soulmate, but then something changes. Your soulmate decides that, they're going to go, I shouldn't say they decide, your soulmate turns to alcoholism, right? Or your soulmate makes a mistake and it tears apart that relationship. For example, I've seen people meet their soulmates and they're together and everything's good. And then unfortunately something happens like alcoholism or addiction and it breaks them apart. And they're like, well, what happened? I thought this was my soulmate. Well, they're still your soulmate. Unfortunately, this is where sometimes free will gets in the way. And life is tricky. Life is hard. It's not easy, right? We're all here to learn journeys, to meet people, to make connections. And then when we get to the other side, we go through a life review. We look at all of these connections, all of these pathways within our life. We have a deeper understanding of our life. We understand our life meaning. And then also at the same time, when we get to the other side, the most beautiful thing that I've seen is that we're all reconnected with one another.
So you meet everyone that you engage with in your lifetime?
Everyone.
Wow. And
you remember everyone, right? Because here on earth, this is where like the soul is different from your mind. So your mind can only process certain things. For example, you came here today. You don't remember how many stop signs you went through, how many red lights you went through, right? To get here. You don't remember all the people that you passed. You weren't counting them. But your soul takes note of all of this. So every person that you smile to, open the door to, every stoplight that you go through, every stop sign that you stop at, your soul remembers. And the reason why that's important is that once we get to the other side, it doesn't matter how your physical body was affected. It doesn't matter if you had Alzheimer's, dementia. It doesn't matter if you had a brain injury. When you get to heaven, we have that backup. Everything's stored within our soul. And what I found most that's so amazing during readings is that when I connect with the other side and the afterlife, the souls will remember everything, names, dates, places, specific information that even the people here on earth is like, oh my God, I forgot all about that. How did my mom remember that? It happened so many years ago. Well, it's because everything's stored within our soul. And we also share that information with the spirit worlds once we get to the other side.
Wow, that's impressive. Do pets show up too after?
Absolutely. Pets are on the other side. I've seen so many pets come through in spirit, and they always come through with their owners. And when their owners aren't present, they come through with their family, which freaks people out. I will tell you, like there was this woman I was just reading for, and she had these 2 cats that she absolutely loved. Yeah. And when I connected with her mother in spirit showed me she was with her 2 cats that passed away in heaven. And right away, the woman's like, there's no way you're talking to my mother. That's not my mother. My mother hated cats. So there's no way my mother would be in heaven with those 2 cats. And I'm like, listen, when you adopt a pet, pets have souls, just like we do. When you adopt a pet, you adopt them into your family. So when you adopt someone in your family, same thing as whether it be pets or a person, right? It's not just by blood. It goes by that love and connection. So pets actually wait for us on the other side in the same heaven that our loved ones are with your loved ones in spirit. Doesn't matter if they loved cats, loved dogs or not, they're there. And here's one of the biggest misconceptions too. People always think that their parents will not be together in the afterlife if they were divorced here in this world. And every time I do a reading like this, when I say, oh, your mom and dad are together, they're coming through together, and they're divorced, people freak out. They're like, Matt, my mom and dad couldn't stand to be in a room with one another here in this world. How the hell are you telling me they're together in the afterlife? There's no way you're off. Well, the thing is that, souls have a different lens than we do. So they choose to go and to put their differences aside in the spirit world to be able to do one thing, and that's watch over you.
Wow. So they'll forget all their conflict and just reunite.
Well, they don't forget it, right? They work through it. So when they get to the other side, there's many things here in this world that we don't resolve. There's many traumatic things that we go through, right? We go through divorces. We go through hardship with relationships. No one is perfect, right? We all have a past. There's all things that we regret. You may have been bullied. Someone may have bullied you. You may have bullied someone. You may have not treated someone kindly. You may have stopped talking to your brother or your sister. Well, what happens when we get to heaven? Heaven would not be a place of peace if we brought all of our conflict with us, right? There's no way. So I love to use analogies when I'm teaching about the other side because I think that it's hard to understand how the spirit world is. But if we kind of take an analogy and we look at it at our life here in the physical world, so we can start to understand what heaven is like. So I think of it this way. Just like when we go on a plane, if you've been to an airport lately, right, especially here in America, It's crazy going through security.
Yeah.
You have to take off your shoes. You have to take off your belt. You have to make sure that all of your luggage is processed at the check-in counter. You have to make sure that you only bring on the lightest of the light bags, right? And we go through the X-ray scanner. We go through the metal detector.
Mm-hmm.
We go through all of these things, and we all agree to do it to keep everybody safe. We all agree to go through that metal detector to get our bags taken away, to taken off anything that's sharp, anything that could be used as a weapon, to keep everybody safe on that plane. And when we get through security, we know that when we get on that plane, we're going to be safe because nobody has weapons, firearms, so on and so forth. Well, that same thing happens when we get to the other side, right? We leave the luggage behind, all of the baggage, all of the things. We agree to sort through it and to get to the bottom of it, because if everyone brought their pain and suffering or their hurt or their grudges or their resentment to heaven, it would not be a place of peace.
That's for hell, right?
Yes, exactly, right? So that's the reason why souls choose to leave it behind, because they realize, and this is all about what I teach about in my books, is they've realized that that's what their life is about, right? When they get to the other side, they want to be happy, and they see the pathway to happiness is being able to let go.
Yeah. So when someone passes away, there's that heaven and hell component. Like, do they have any choice at that point, or is it predetermined if they're going to one or the other?
Oh, it's not predetermined. No, you actually judge yourself. So, what's actually funny is in my book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead, it's all about the life review. So the life review is a process that we all go through. Remember how we talked about things are stored in the soul? Well, when we get to the other side, we see all of these life moments. It's the best movie you'll ever see because you're the main character.
Yeah.
You are the audience, you're the director, you're the producer, and you're the main character of that life review. And when you go through this life review, you see from the moment you're born to the moment that you die, every single thing in between. The people that you've helped, the people that helped you, the people that hated you, the people that you hated, right? The good things that you did, the bad things that you did, the pets that you adopted, the money you made, every single thing is during that life review. It shows you the moments of your life that you look to and you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I did that. I helped this person. You see the sad moments of your life where you really hurt a person, you let a person down, right? You see in that life review who your soulmate truly was. And you see all of these different factors of your life. And then at the end of this life review, after looking back through all of the memories, right? You decide, am I going to let this go, right? Am I going to make amends? Am I going to resolve this, right? And am I truly sorry for what I did? Am I sorry for, I didn't want to do that to that person. I didn't want to treat that person that way. And that's when your soul transitions to the other side, right? I will tell you that souls, because believe it or not, many people are afraid of their life review.
Really?
People told me you would not believe how many people are afraid to buy my book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead. So many people say, Matt, I'm not ready. I'm afraid to buy it because I don't want to come to terms with my past. And the biggest thing that I hear as a psychic medium is that so many people are afraid to go through this life review because they think that they're being judged. But I will tell you that no one's up there. That, heaven, God, the angels aren't up there judging you, saying you did this wrong, you did that. You're not in front of a court system, right? You're looking back on yourself and you want to change. You want to be the one to change. You want to let go. You feel remorseful and you feel happy about the moments. It's the most emotional thing that we ever go through.
Yeah.
But what's truly beautiful is this, is that, I want to say 99.9% of souls make it to the other side. But the souls that don't, the souls that we call earthbound spirits, or the souls that stay trapped here on this earth, are the souls that look back on that life review, are not changed, and are not remorseful. And for example, I'll tell you, I was just watching a Netflix series. And in the Netflix series, it was like something to do with like the world's toughest prisons. And they were interviewing this man who was like this mass murderer, and he killed like, hundreds and hundreds of people, like the most terrible, terrible murders. And the interviewer asked, do you feel remorseful? Would you do this again? What would you change? And he said, I would do it again. And if I got out, I would continue to kill. And I was like, oh my God, like you've sat in prison all this time and nothing has changed you. And then it made me realize these are the souls that don't go to the other side. These souls that purposely hurt people, that are evil to their core, to the point where not even God or heaven or that life review can change them.
Wow. So Jeffrey Dahmer's soul is still lurking around then.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's crazy. Yeah, the psychopaths basically, right?
Listen, there's some times when, unfortunately, like for example, people pass in ways that are caused by like mental illness, things that are beyond their control. But when you're purposely doing something to somebody,
right?
For example, let's use this as an example. There was a man that I was reading for who lost his dad. And his dad, unfortunately, accidentally killed a man. He was had run through a red light, and unfortunately it was a head-on collision way back in the day. And the driver of the other vehicle was an elderly man that had passed away. He feared that his dad would not be in heaven after he passed away because he had killed this person. But the thing is that his father had literally, went years here in life crying, being up at night, being remorseful. He never, back in those days, I don't know how it worked, but he never got charged with a crime where he had to go to prison or anything. Yeah. If he did, it was only a short amount of time. But his life was spent in prison, meaning that he was holding in all of this emotion, all of this pain, all of this hurt because he took someone's life. He was so sorry. And it truly was an accident. So when I connected with his dad's soul showed me that he went to the other side. He made it to the other side. When he got to the other side, not only did he make amends with this person that he killed, but that person apologized to him as well, saying, this person forgave him as well, saying, I know what you went through.
Wow.
And that was one of the most powerful readings that I did, because at that moment, I saw this one thing. I saw that not only did the soul on the other side forgive him, but also I saw about how his soul was led into the afterlife, because sometimes the suffering that we do isn't in prison, right? Or it's the suffering that we do here in this world. So for example, he suffered, he hurt, it pains him so bad about what had happened in this accident that, it affected his whole life. It tarnished his whole entire life. There wasn't a day that went by that he didn't think about it. And then when he got to the other side, he finally felt free.
You see that with a lot of veterans. They have guilt after they come back from war.
100%. They have guilt, they have PTSD, they have so many things. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you that what's so beautiful about the other side is that we're able to work through the things that we didn't get to work through here in this world. Yeah, it's a big issue. And then some of them end up taking their own lives. Have you read people that have done that? And is that process different? So I have read for people who are taking their lives. But you have to remember, so first of all, the souls that I've read for that have taken their lives, do make it to the other side. I will tell you that they are regretful of doing this, because so many times when we're going through a bad situation, when we're going through something here in this world, right? We don't realize what's to come. And this is kind of what's really tough about being human, is that when someone's going through a really dark time, I mean, I've done readings for people who have been going through the worst of the worst, people who have been losing their house, losing their kids, filing for divorce, going through bankruptcy, being accused of a crime, so on and so forth. And when someone's going through a really hard time, they'll come to me, they'll be like, Matt, oh my God, you need to help me. I need to talk to my mom. My husband's divorcing me. I'm about to lose my kids. This is that, the other thing. And you would expect that the other side, like their loved ones in spirit, would come through and be nervous, be scared, be, on edge. But when you connect with the spirit world, it's quiet. Meaning that no one's panicking, no one's jumping up and down, no one's yelling, because your loved ones in spirit can see tomorrow so much more clearly than you can even see yesterday. They know how things are going to change. They know what's waiting for you. So even though there's dark moments that you might go through in life, they disappear. And what I've learned through people who had passive suicide is that when they come back and they go through that life review, they realize one thing. If I were to have just stuck around, if I would have stuck around for a few more days, a few more hours, a few more weeks, then this would have happened. And this would have changed my life. And it's hard here in life. Wow. We have so much pressure. But, there's one advice that the spirit world keeps giving to us, and that is keep going.
I love that. Now, I know you're a pretty positive person, but have you ever encountered an evil spirit? Like, do those actually exist?
There are evil spirits that exist. I will tell you. They call them many things: demonic spirits, evil spirits, earthbound spirits, stuck spirits, right? They're all the same thing. They're souls that don't make it to the other side. And I remember my grandmother being a medium, my mom being a medium. They had taught me one thing. If you're going to do this work, Matt, you have to do it the right way. Meaning that you only talk to the souls that are in heaven. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Psychic Mediumship 101. And listen, there's some mediums won't agree, right? There's some mediums that do that work where they connect with evil spirits and negative souls. I will not do that work. I will not do it. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because good souls want good things for you. Good, just like good people here on earth want good things for you. Jealous people, evil people here on earth that have not died, what do they want? One thing: to bring you down. They want to stop you from meeting your soulmate. They want to stop you from living your dream. They want to stop you from living your best life. That's what an evil, jealous person wants to do. That's what a bully wants to do. They want to tear you down.
Right.
It's the positive people that truly love and care about you that want to push you and move you forward. So the thing is that if you talk to evil spirits or evil souls, that's exactly what they want. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to push you down the stairs. They don't want to bite you or claw you like you see on television. But they do want you to be just as miserable as them, right? If they're not in heaven, it's because they did horrible things within their life. They were truly unhappy with their life. Their soul is truly evil. And what do they want? Well, they want to stop you from meeting your soulmate. They want to stop you from living a good life. They want to stop you from enjoying and embracing life. And they'll do anything that they can to, move you away from those goals and desires that you have. Where the positive souls, like your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, those people that are on the other side are souls that want good things for you. They want to see you get married. They know your hopes and dreams, and they're going to do everything that they can to help lead you and guide you towards that. So you really have to, when being a medium, you have to put a fine line. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. So I will only talk to the souls that are good. And that's the reason why. It's like I get calls every week to be on paranormal shows, ghost hunter shows, and I hang up the phone. I will not do it because it's almost like, how to explain it? It's almost like I keep my energy field very clear. Yeah. Right? I keep my pathway and my communication to heaven really clear. And I don't want anything tainting the fields, so to speak. So it's almost like if you were to have, drinking water, right? And then you poured a little bit of dirty water in it, what would happen, right? You contaminate it. Right. So I want to make sure that my pathway to spirit, my communication with spirit is clean and clear. I work very hard on that. I pray, I meditate, I practice psychic protection. And, I think that that's why people trust me.
Yeah, that's good to know. So no haunted houses for you.
No haunted houses for me. Absolutely not. And like it says, listen, no disrespect for the people that do it. There are people that, will try to speak to evil souls and talk to evil spirits and whatnot. I would recommend against it. But like I said, some people feel that it's their calling. And I have people that I know who are paranormal investigators and do the work and are really good at what they do. But for me, that's not my calling. That's not where I feel I'm being led.
I've had a few on the show and they talk about possession and I think I believe in it. Possession, like it's scary stuff.
I mean, I've seen scary stuff, but the one thing that I can tell you is this. I mean, I've seen it through the paranormal investigators, not through what I do. Yeah. But I can tell you this, and this is one of the reasons why I say to stay away, okay? The people who are paranormal investigators actually are professionals, right? They know what they're doing. If they're a true paranormal investigator, right? There's protection techniques that they do, there's certain equipment that they use, there's certain boundaries that they don't cross, so on and so forth. Yeah. So there's only, one person that I truly recommend that like really does the work that I trust immensely. But I can tell you this. I can tell you that through all of the thousands and thousands of readings that I've done over the years, there's only been, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 people that I've come in contact with that had an evil spirit attached to them or connected with them. And the only reason why they had was because they did something they weren't supposed to do. They played with the Ouija board. They tried to become a paranormal investigator, right? They went to these haunted places, provoked spirit, and they brought something home. So what I want people to know is this, is that if you stay away from it, it's going to stay away from you, right? It's not like you see in the movies where you just move into a house and all of a sudden, there's a possession or there's something that happens. To let in an evil spirit, you have to engage with that spirit and let them in. You were born with 2 special angels by your side, right? One is your guardian angel. You actually have a couple angels that walk with you, but we'll just say your guardian angel for one. And your angels keep you safe and protected against all negative souls. People think that guardian angels are there to help you through natural, disasters and when tragedy is about to strike. But your angels are there for another reason. Your angels are there to help protect you against evil souls and evil entities. But you can bypass your guardian angel. So for example, if you're walking down the street and there's an evil soul, they can't just come and possess you or touch you or do things to you. But if you go, because you have a guardian angel, but if you go to a haunted house that is haunted with this paranormal activity where there's an evil spirit that's lurking, and you decide to engage with that spirit, that's on you. Your guardian angel then can't help you.
Dang.
Because it's like this, right? It's like how many times has it happened when you're younger? And when you're younger, all of a sudden, your mom or your dad might say, stay away from this person. Don't talk to this person. This person's evil. This person's toxic. And then you say, you don't know what you're talking about. And you go and you talk to them. And then next thing you know, there's this shitstorm that happens, right? Well, our guardian angel is there to protect us. But like I said, you have free will. So what you do is your own business. And if you choose to engage with an evil person or an evil soul, right? There's not much that your guardian angel can do from that moment.
That's good to know, because there's a famous haunted museum in Vegas, and I did the tour, and they were recommending people to talk to the possessed dolls and stuff. So that's kind of opening a portal.
Oh, I would not. Yes, it's actually funny because when I came to Vegas, there's a person that's like, you gotta go to that museum. I'm like, I'm not going near that museum. That is not for me. And listen, I respect the people that do the work. Like there's this one paranormal investigator that I talk to that, takes evil dolls and whatnot and possessed objects and hides them away from the rest of the world. Thank God he does it, because I wouldn't want to do the work, but I don't want any part of it.
I appreciate that. What about sleep paralysis? Because I had that once and I was seeing stuff. Do you know what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, there are times during sleep paralysis where souls will come in. And, I've also realized this, and let me ask you a question before we even get started with this, because I always ask this question, and this is how you can really tell, because I've noticed being a medium that when people have sleep paralysis, it all happens around the same time. For example, have you ever had sleep paralysis? Wait, let me set that over. So first of all, the one thing I can tell you is this. I've noticed with sleep paralysis that when people get this, it's usually at a time when they're trying to get closer to spirit. So for example, when you had that sleep paralysis happen to you, was it a time when you were getting closer to the spirit world or opening up with your spirituality?
Yeah, I was heavily researching astral projection at the time.
Okay, there you go. So I can tell you this, that when people make the move to switch over to spirituality, when people start going down that rabbit hole, and it's like, I want to get closer to God. I want to learn about my angels. I want to get closer to the spirit world and to the good things, right? That's when sleep paralysis happens. It actually happened to me quite a bit when I started getting back into my psychic ability. When I started getting back, because I'd pushed it away for years and years when I was a kid. And when I started to learn more, I'm like, I want to be closer to God. I want to be closer to my angels and my loved ones and learn about the ascended masters. And when I started to, meditate and delve back in and really learn about the spirit world, I started having these episodes of sleep paralysis. And if anyone doesn't know what sleep paralysis is when all of a sudden you're sleeping and you wake up and you can't move your body. It's you try to scream and you can't. You try to move and you can't. Your body is in full paralysis. And not only that, but it's a scary thing. Many times you can feel the room being cold. You can feel like someone's there and like they're holding you down.
Yeah.
It's the scariest thing that anyone can ever go through. And I remember just sitting in bed, like having the sleep paralysis happen, praying, and then suddenly it just came off over me. And when I asked the other side about this, and I said, why is this happening to me? Why is it that I'm getting this sleep paralysis? Like, what is this? And I heard that it was the negative souls that were around that were trying to prevent and scare me from getting closer to God, to the afterlife, and to my spirituality. They didn't want me to go down that path, right? Remember, evil souls, evil people, jealous people, they all want the same thing: to hurt, destroy, kill, right? That's what they want. So the thing is that evil spirits, they don't want you to get a closer relationship with God, with your loved ones and the afterlife. So they want it to make it seem like it's scary. That's why souls scare you. They scare you because they want you to be afraid. They want you to be afraid of making that connection to your angels, your guides, and your loved ones. So sleep paralysis is kind of like a motive.
Yeah.
And anyone that I talk to that has had sleep paralysis, if you ask them that one question, when you had the sleep paralysis, were you trying to get closer to God? Were you trying to get closer into your spirituality? Were you trying to learn more about the other side? They will all say yes.
That's crazy. I never thought of that linkage, That's so interesting. Yeah, I thought I was going to die when I had it. I was getting choked out. Super weird.
I mean, you wouldn't understand it unless it happened to you. My dad, who doesn't want to talk about, psychic ability or spirituality, he gets really freaked out because my dad was 21 years in the Navy, brought up, Catholic. He went through it. And my dad, when he came back from, the service and was, reading the Bible and getting back into his own spirituality, it happened to him. And my dad's like, what was that? What happened? And I've had many people that have had that same experience. And it's if you've had sleep paralysis, don't let it scare you. Know that it just means that your connection to the afterlife and to the other side and to spirituality is just getting stronger. And something is trying to block you.
I slept with the light on for the rest of the year.
It's hard, and the thing is that there's medical science behind it. Listen, I have a medical background. I don't know if you know, I was an emergency medical technician.
Oh, wow.
So I was an EMT. I worked for the World Trade Center in Boston for the Security Operations Department. So I believe in traditional and spiritual medicine. And the medical science behind it is that when your body goes to sleep, you release, certain chemicals in your body that put your body to sleep so that your mind can go and, process all of the thoughts. And the science behind it, or what science says, is that basically when your body is waking up, or it's basically a hiccup in the system where like your mind wakes up before your body, and that's what causes the sleep paralysis. But that's not what the other side has told me.
Yeah, that's funny. You got a new book, right? Don't wait until you're dead. Don't
wait till you're dead. That's the book that some people are afraid to pick up and to start reading, because it talks about the life review, about what happens when we go to the other side. And it's a couple things that happen. We meet our spirit guide, we meet our guardian angel, we see our pets and our loved ones, and then we go through the life review. And if you've ever wondered, why am I here? What's the meaning of my life? Why am I alive, right? What did God want from me? Why did I go through this challenge and struggle? Or I was meant to change the world. What did I actually do? This book is all about it.
I can't wait to meet my spirit guide. I wonder who it is.
Well, I can tell you this. You haven't met your spirit guide here on earth, because your spirit guide was assigned to you at birth. But you can feel your spirit guide guiding you. You can start to understand who your spirit guide is. And that's why I wanted to write this book, because people come to me and they say to me, Matt, can you do a reading if I haven't lost anyone within my life? And the truth is, yes, it's a different type of reading, but you have a spirit guide and your guardian angel that are with you. So no one's ever born alone. You have a whole team in the spiritual side of life that are there and with you from the moment that you're born to the moment that you die. And I can tell you this, meeting your spirit guide, meeting your guardian angel is the most amazing experience that the souls tell me they go through.
That's beautiful.
I'll tell you this, when you meet them, it's like meeting a friend that you've known back when you were a child, but got disconnected with for years and years.
I love that. What else you working on? Any shows coming up? Where can people find you?
Oh my God, I'm always working, right? Right now I'm on this huge tour between the United States and Canada. I'm touring all different places. So if you go to meetmattfraser.com, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in a state or a city that's close by you. So definitely check it out, because we have, 35 more tour dates till the end of the year.
Wow.
And then we're adding more for next year. So meetmattfraser.com. I also do online readings as well, which is pretty cool, because even for the people that are, not in the United States, what's cool is that people come and join me online, and I give readings for people all over the world. And so far I've been able to read over 2,000 people online, which has been awesome. So all those videos that you see are not private readings. Those are actually online group readings. And I also have courses, books, like for example, my book, We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife, which became a New York Times bestseller. Don't Wait Till You're Dead, which is all about the life review and what happens when we cross over. And also I have a book called When Heaven Calls, which is all about my own journey as a psychic medium and how I became to be the person that I am today.
I love it. We'll link it all below. Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep, check them out, guys. See you next time.